Inspections. Just want to talk to you about tips and the numbers, what they mean, various types you need, stuff like that. And the reason why I want to talk about this is I was talking to a painter the other day, just bought a spray machine, and he didn't have a clue. He didn't know exactly what the numbers were. He didn't know about the different colours, what they meant for the Graco ones, which he's got a Graco spray machine. He didn't have a clue. So I sat there for about half an hour, just talking him through what the tips what the tips do, the different colours, the sizes and stuff like that, and what the number means. And I was talking to another guy who owned a 390, another painter who works on our firm. And he didn't have a clue about tip sizes either, and he's been spraying for a year. So I thought, you know what, this is good information to put out here, so why not just go through with you guys and that and just quickly go through tip sizes, tip colours and stuff like that. Right, so what we got here, we have blues and greens. Now these are Graco tips. Now the idea of the greens, they're fine finished. They're all actually called FFLP tips, fine finished low pressure. And the idea of these, that you can run these guys around on pressure wise on your machine around from about 1200 to 1500. It all depends on your machine and the tip as well when you're using it. So you have these, which are good, they're not bad. I do prefer the blue tips. Now the blue tips, they run at a higher pressure. Now they usually run between 2200 to 2600, maybe a bit higher, depending on how worn your tip is. So I like to use these when we're mist coating. So I'm going to run through the tips, tip sizes, what I use the tips for, so you get an idea. Now for mist coating, plastered walls or just even dry lined walls, I prefer to use these tips, right? The idea is I use a 621 and that puts loads of paint on. First of all, best talk about the actual numbers. Now, you have three sets of numbers. You have the first number and then the 21, if you're talking about 621, is one set of number itself, right? So the 6 gives you how wide the fan is. Now what you do is you double up the number, and that gives you how wide your fan is. So if it's a 6, that means it gives you a 12-inch fan. And the 21, that is the amount of paint that actually comes out the orifice. So you have got a lot of paint going on that wall. So I use these guys. As you can see, we can't see it properly in there. Right, that's more like that 517, but I use a 621 to do mist coating because I want a lot of paint on the wall, so I want the wall saturated so it's soaked in nice and solid. And then we use a 517 to finish off the walls or to back roll. You don't want so much paint on the wall because you've put loads on with the 621. Now you've got the fine finishes. Now there's nothing wrong with a fine finish, spraying complete walls. I just find, and I don't know if it's just me or what, but I find that when you use a fine finish spraying the walls, you seem to get a hell of a lot of overspray, even though it's only running at 1400. And that's brand new tips we're talking about. So I don't like to use it mist coating. What I use these fine finishes for are for basically for undercoating door frames, undercoating skirtings, undercoating seals. Now, the best size that I personally think, the best size you could use for undercoating frames and skirtings is a 310. So that gives you a 6-inch fan with 0.10 amount of paint going onto the woodwork. You don't want to saturate the woodwork, so you don't need like a 321. You want not a little amount, but you don't want it so it's pouring off the frame. So 310 is perfect for spraying woodwork. If you're spraying like your banisters, your sticks, something like that, you're looking at a 210. So something with a 4-inch fan. Right. So for spraying woodwork, you don't want to go any higher than a 10. You really don't. And the highest you really need to go in that if you're doing like frame skirtings and and windowsills and that is a 310. So that gives you a rough idea. As I say, I like the blues for the finish on the walls. It gives you a slight stipple effect. So on the building site, it's excellent because some places you are allowed to spray the walls to a finish, others you have to back roll. So I prefer, like especially on the site that I'm on, and that I'll use a 517 tip. That gives me enough coverage, and the walls are nice and solid once I've finished with it. Another thing you need to know: guards, tips and guards. So obviously we have this tip, this guard here, and this is the Graco tip and Graco guard. These tips can only fit with this guard, and this one's there as well. They only can fit with these blue Graco guards. They're designed for that. You cannot, this is a Tritech tip I've got here. You cannot use a Graco tip into a Tritech guard. It just will not fit. Now, because I'm holding the camera myself, I'm going to try and let you see. But if you have a look, impossible. It just will not fit. Alright? It only goes with the blue guards. And certain other tips, certain other companies of tips won't go into blue. Well, definitely other companies of tips won't fit in the blue guard either in that. So this one here, as you can see, which is a Tritech tip, fits in that perfectly. Now, this might fit in there, but trust me, it won't work because it leaks out loads of paint. It will just literally will pour out paint because it's not designed to fit in that guard. So, just a word of warning. It's Graco Blue FFLP tips and the LTX tips only go with this blue guard. Right. What is there to talk about? I think that's pretty. Our seats and saddles. Right, this is a new tip, the new 621 tip. Just want to show you, brand new tip. My one is on its way out. I reckon these tips, they last about, what should I say, about 90 to 100 gallons worth of paint. So you're looking at, if you're doing 4-bedroom houses, you're looking at, for mist coating, between 10 and 11 houses, you need a new tip. Now you think, oh, you know what, for the price you're spending on the tip, it's £30, but trust me, the speed you work at, it's worth spending the money. And the amount of money you're going to make anyway, it's worth spending the money. Every like 10 to 11 houses are getting a new tip, because when your tip blows, you will know about it and you'll lose speed. So might as well let you know how you know if your tip's blown, just in case you haven't come across it or you're new to spraying. What you'll find is you first put in a new tip, and basically what it is, it will have a nice wide fan pattern and it'll be all even. When your tip starts to wear down, it becomes an oval shape. The width of the fan becomes smaller, and you do notice it. The effects that it actually puts on the wall is different. The texture it's a lot more stippled, and you will see this. Not only that, if you're miscoating ceilings as well, you will feel the paint droplets of paint falling in the air, and that is the time when you need to change it. I know guys who have tips for about a year, and all they've done is turn up the pressure, and they've got like a 621 tip, and if you look at the size of the fan, it's like a bloody 6-inch fan, and it should be a 12-inch fan. So it is a very good idea to change your tips regular. And not only that, you're wasting paint because it produces more overspray. Just to let you know here, this is called a seat and a saddle. It's quite self-explanatory in that. This goes inside. You can see this one here, the Graco guard. So you put, obviously, I haven't got a saddle in this one because I've lost it out of my Tritech, but you put it inside. So like that, it sits inside there, and then like you put your tip through. But you do need those, so don't throw these away. If you're new to spraying, open up the pack and think, what the hell is this, and throw it away. You need this inside your guard. And another tip is that every time you get a new spray tip, it is a good idea to change the seat and saddle, just to make sure you eliminate the spits, because once they're worn, you do actually find they start spitting. So it's just good to change it. If you're changing your tips every 10, 11 houses and that, then you shouldn't have a problem there. Every time you get a new tip and that, you just put into the seat and saddle as well. Oh yeah, I'll show you. By the way, they do come apart, so quite easy to put back together. There you go. Hopefully, you find what I've explained to you of help. Subscribe.